In the market for a new microphone? Well, thanks to Audio Test Kitchen, you'll never have to buy a mic again without knowing exactly how it sounds. Drew Swisher here with Musician on a Mission, and today I'm going to be showing you how to use Audio Test Kitchen. And right off the bat, I want to say that I'm not being paid by Audio Test Kitchen or sponsored by them in any way. I'm giving this review because I'm genuinely impressed by the product. And of course, you can decide for yourself what you think, but I think you're gonna like it. So Audio Test Kitchen is a free website that lets you compare different microphones. Each and every microphone out there has its own unique sound. The way they color your sound can make or break a recording. And that's why some microphones are great for vocals, while others are famous for bass or drums. And this can take years to figure out. I learned it through trial and error, and it took forever, and I bought some mics that I honestly probably didn't really need at the time. But you don't have to waste years and money like I did. You can get an encyclopedic knowledge of studio mics without spending a dime. So here's the browser of all the different microphones that we can select from, and there's over 300 microphones in here. You can preview tons of different options, and it's super easy to use. Just scroll through this list. You can find it by clicking on this magnifying glass and drag the ones you want to see up here. So I've actually already picked out a few that I wanted to see. We've got an AKG P420, an AT2020, the Neumann TLM 102, the C414, and one from Ear Trumpet Labs. And I picked these ones out because I wanted to show you that Audio Test Kitchen has mics from a whole spread of price points. You know, you got some pretty budget ones and then some really expensive ones. And we can do a shootout and check exactly how they sound in comparison to one another. So first we're gonna select a song, and right now there's 2 songs. They're planning to make some more, but I'm gonna go with the LA song. I really like using this one as a reference point, and I can choose to listen to various isolated instruments, but I'm gonna listen to just the full mix. So let's get an idea of how the song sounds using the Neumann TLM first.
Test. We licking off shots in the west. We make believers out the best. Lay the weak to rest. In Southern California, ain't no place like this. And after stuff y'all doing, we created the shit. So don't be sagging, young buck, in the presence of this. Don't even come from my city and you're running your lip. I'm about to make a call, get the news fan out. Explain the Trisha to you know how your crew ran out. We coming live from the Trade 23 area code Mad Cloud.
So yeah, that's how this song sounds with every single instrument being mic'd by the Neumann TLM. And just to be clear, these aren't models or emulations of the microphones. These are real recordings of each of these instruments through that mic. And I can even loop a section of the song by just clicking and dragging it right here. And then we can check out how these different mics compare to one another by listening to the same part of the song. So let's do that real quick.
Test. We licking off shots in the west. We make believers out the best. Lay the weak to rest. In Southern California, ain't no who want test. We licking off shots in the west. We make believers out the best. Lay the weak to rest. In Southern California, ain't no.
And you can already tell that we're getting some pretty different sounds out of these. You know, some of them are a lot low mids-ear, a little bit boomier than the other ones, and some are a little bit tinnier. And of course, there's nothing wrong with either of those. It's just a matter of figuring out which mics suit what you want. And you'll notice that as I'm switching from mic to mic, the recording is changing in kind. So I can listen to the same performance recorded through the P420 as well as the Neumann TLM. And of course, we could get more granular with it. You know, I could check out the mic on individual instruments like I was talking about earlier. And that's great if I'm specifically looking for a bass mic or a vocal mic or something, but listening to the entire mix through one mic gives you a good idea of that mic's color and tone, because you're basically hearing that mic's characteristics stacked across every instrument, so it becomes more obvious. Now, one of my favorite features in Audio Test Kitchen is the blind mode, so let me turn that on real quick, and this may take a second to load. So blind mode, as you can see, covers up the microphone's names and images, so you can switch between the mics without knowing which one you're listening to.
Test. We licking off shots in the west.
This removes personal bias, allowing you to judge each mic by its sound, not by its price point or its reputation. And the best way to use blind mode is to combine it with the notes feature down here. So we can type in notes for each type of mic. Let's listen to this one real quick.
Test. We licking off shots shots in the west. We make believers.
And that one sounds pretty full-bodied to me. And now let's listen to the one next to it again.
Who won test? We licking off shots in the west. We make believers out the best. Lay the weak to rest. The southern.
And I'm gonna say that one sounds a little open and midsy. And once we switch out of blind mode, we'll be able to see the notes that we made for each of these mics. Let's hop up to the notes right here. Cool, so I said that the AKG P420 sounded full-bodied, while the AT 2020 sounded open and midsy. And of course, you can make whatever kinds of notes you want in here. You know, you could rank these from lowest to highest to get an idea for which one you like the best. Either way, I really recommend that you check the mics out in blind mode and use your notes to guide you to the right choice. So let's talk about how they did this. What I find most impressive about Audio Test Kitchen is their dedication to making this tool as useful as it can possibly be. Most mic shootouts aren't very scientific. You know, you got a couple engineers who just throw two mics up and they're not even in the same location and they're recording different performances. There are tons of factors that can give you an incorrect understanding of a mic sound. You know, if you're listening to different performances, then there might be differentiations in how the person's playing the instrument that might make you think one mic sounds better. Mic placement will affect it, differences in playback volume, other gear in the signal chain, and so on. There's a lot that can get in the way of a good mic comparison. But Audio Test Kitchen has put a ton of work into eliminating these variables. So the only difference you're hearing is that of the mics. They used actual robots to perform the drum parts. That way they could make sure each performance was exactly the same, and they had a tune bot on each drum to make sure they maintained tuning throughout. They played the piano parts back through a Yamaha self-playing piano to ensure consistency, and for other instruments they had performers record the part and then they'd take those recordings into an anechoic chamber and reamp them to record through additional microphones. And every time that they did this, they used lasers to create a mid-air target. That way they could ensure each mic's placement was in the exact same spot as the others. They've got a level matching software that keeps each mic's volume consistent with one another within 1/10 of a dB, and they even took their own measurements of each mic's frequency response, which you can see down here. So these response graphs that you see here in ATK aren't from the manufacturers, they've been independently measured by Audio Test Kitchen. And throughout the process of getting all of these recordings and measurements, anytime they discovered that the sound was being colored by anything other than the mics being used, they'd scrap the work and try it again. For example, they took 3 cracks at the drums to make sure they were right, which shows a real dedication to accuracy here because that's an expensive decision to make. And while there are ads on the site, they're honestly pretty useful. You know, they're all music related and they're the kind of gear you might want to use. And there are even ads for mics that you can click on and it'll actually load that microphone into ATK so you can hear how it sounds. And if you want to know more about the signal chain of all of these recordings, you can just select an instrument, for example, electric guitar, and then click the information button right next to the playhead. And this is going to tell you everything you want to know about how it was recorded, what it's been run through, how it's been level matched, and so on. So before we wrap for today, let's cover some other features in ATK. You've got the mystery mic, which is a hidden microphone. So let's click on that and we can hear how the song would sound with the mystery mic.
Who won test? We licking off shots in the west.
And to reveal what the mystery mic is, you can just click and drag it in here.
The news ran out. Explain nutrition to you know on how your crew ran out. We coming live from the tray too.
Okay, so the mystery mic was the Aston Spirit. There's also the cupboard, which is where you can save mics that you like or throw other ones that you want to check out later in here. So to do that, you just hover over these ellipses right here and select cupboard, or you can press C and that'll throw it in the cupboard for you. You can look at detailed specifications for each mic by clicking on the cogwheel here. And you can create new sessions to put entirely different mics to check out in by clicking this plus button up here and creating a new tab. Let's make a new session and call it, let's say I'm looking for an electric guitar mic. This will be guitar mic. Cool, and now we've got our guitar mic session pulled up so we can load entirely different microphones in here and compare them. And if I want to check out my old sessions, I can just click this button right here next to the guitar mic tab, and that'll pull open my previous sessions. So right here, I've got all of my different sessions, and I can go back to the one I was using earlier. So yeah, if you're looking for a dedicated kick drum mic, you can make a session for that and then come and revisit it later. And there are also hotkeys you can use to speed things up. So let's click this information button up here so we can check them out, and we can throw things into the cupboard just by clicking C. We can play and pause by pressing spacebar, changing the instrument we're listening to with the arrow keys. All in all, I'm personally really impressed with ATK. I think this is great for people who are looking to make informed decisions when purchasing a new mic, and it's also great for any producers who want to have a really strong understanding of tons of different mics. So if you think you'll be going into any studios where there'll be tons of mics available, this will really help you pick the right one for the job. And while I was first checking it out, I remember saying something along the lines of, this feels like a vision into an alternate universe, a utopian society like Star Trek where everything went right. And I say that partially because I love Deep Space Nine, but also because this is what I'd like the music industry to look like. These people have put tons of work into creating a high-quality scientific database that anyone can use, and they've had plenty of encouragement and assistance from engineers and microphone manufacturers. And that's just great for all of us who want to make awesome music and want to use the best tools we possibly can to do it. After all, choosing the right mic is super important. It'll help you clinch the tone and feel of your entire mix. But there's more to making great music than just having the right gear. You have to have the know-how to go with it. So to help you get everything you need, Rob Mazes from Musician on a Mission has created this free workshop that covers the 7 steps to getting radio-ready mixes. 36,000 people have already done this workshop, and it really only takes a few days to start seeing results. So check it out if you want to avoid wasting your time and your money on the wrong things and learn the 7 steps you actually need to make pro mixes. All right, that's all from me today. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you really like this video, hit that subscribe button with the power of a runaway robot hitting the snare drum so hard Audio Test Kitchen has to book another day at an extremely expensive studio in LA. Drew Swisher with Musician on a Mission. I'll talk to you again soon, and remember, create regardless.